Hello internet friends. In this video I'm going to finish installing the cover rib bolts, and looking at the instructions here, it looks like I just need to go read section 5.20 and figure out the torque values, because I pretty much just torque them tight without using the torque wrench. So yeah, I guess I'll do that later today. I did have to spend an hour going through a parts bag, counting all the parts. Well, not really counting, just sorting them, and remembering what numbers all the parts were. As I pull things out of the bag, I've been labeling them and putting them in a container. So, you know, when I pull a random, nylon washer out of the bag and it says it's MS310 blah blah blah, I made that up. I'm not looking at the part number as I record this, but anyway, you need to take that and separate that out. And just so you can keep organized, I guess you could keep all the parts in the bags, but the plans don't really reference the bags. Is the problem that I'm realizing. So then I end up cross-referencing the part to a parts bag, and I figured it's probably easier just to take all the parts out of the bag and put them in a container with the actual part name or number on it. So like if it's an AN bolt and it says use an AN 3-5 bolt, well, I can just go to the bolts container, find the AN 3-5 bolt, and use that instead of going to bag 3067 and then seeing a bunch of bolts in the bag and then having to measure to figure out which one is a AN-5. So anyway, that's what I've seen most builders do. Have containers with a bunch of labels for AN bolts and all the little tiny pieces, hardware. So they must have all come to the same conclusion as me. So I'm not a genius. I'm just, learning this as I go along, because I am not smart enough to learn from others yet. Okay, so for the rest of the video, these are the seat ribs where the seats are going to be on top of. So there's 8 of those. So for the rest of the video, I'm basically just deburring all 8 seat ribs. I did notice that from my little mishap that really wasn't apparent in the last video, but it happened. I got one of the ribs caught in there's a little space between the flanges, and I got that caught in the Scotch-Brite wheel for like half a second. And this morning when it's evening in this video, so when I started deburring, I realized I took a little chunk out of that deburring wheel, but it seemed to still work okay. It was, a chunk, maybe it was like a millimeter deep and like, I don't know, a centimeter long. But anyway, the Scotch-Brite wheel seemed to still work, which is great because that's like $100 for the wheel. And it would be a bummer to have to replace it, even though I guess I could just grind it down on something, and it would still work. Alright, while I was sitting here, I figured I'd just go to 5.20 in the plans and figure out what the torque was that I needed to use, and it looks like it's 28 inch-pounds for the self-locking nut. So after I'm done recording this, I'm going to go torque it or all those bolts to 28 inch-pounds. This is another technique that I've tried. I don't know if it was really successful. I have a little tiny Scotch-Brite wheel that I put on the drill press so I can deburr all the lightning holes. And that's lightening holes, as in they cut out metal to make the piece lighter, not lightning, like lightning from the sky. Anyway, this didn't work so great. I don't know if I need it to spin faster. I have the drill press on a pretty low setting for reaming. But yeah, I wasn't super happy with how that turned out. I ended up just using the, what is that little tool called? I'm going to have to figure out what that tool's called, but the one that's sitting on the desk, the red one right there. Interesting. According to Aircraft Spruce, it's called the Shaviv deburring tool Mango. What is it called? The Mango? Interesting. Okay, so that's what that little tool is called. And it's great for deburring edges and lightning holes, and is what I ended up using, and we'll probably see that in the next video. Okay, anyway, if you want to chat RVs or have questions about building a RV, come join our Slack group. The link is in the description. I think that's the area that it's called in the YouTube video. Everyone have a great week.